Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, what we're going to do is start to animate our character's legs. So let's start off by creating our first initial poses. Now the way that I tend to work in this situation is I'll start getting the legs moving, then I'll add the body positions in, then I'll go back through and do the arms. And once I've got the basic positions for those, I'll then keep going back through the sequence and adding more and more in between poses and kind of finessing or readjusting the poses I already have to help to smooth the movement and add weight and things like that. So one of the things that I like to do is have basically two viewports open. I like to have the perspective view open so I can kind of rotate around and select things, but it's also handy to have the side view open as well. So I'm going to open up the outliner perspective view just here, and then I'm going to change this panel to a side view. So there's a couple of ways to do that. You can either go to Panels, Orthographic Side, which is pretty easy. Okay. Another way of doing it is if I just reset that, if I hold down the spacebar inside the outliner list, I get the hotbox menu system here. If I click and hold on the word Maya, this then gives me shortcut to all of my views. And if I select a left view, might be a right view. You can actually get both in this, which is handy. Yeah, it's a right view. So if I click on that and hit right view, that'll also change that viewport. Some of you may have occasionally had your cameras kind of go a little weird, where the camera will swap in a viewport. Oftentimes that happens when you're tapping your spacebar to zoom in to a viewport, and if you do that and hold the spacebar a little too long and then you click, it will often hit one of these by accident. So that's sometimes what's been going on, I think, with some students accidentally kind of hitting that option without realizing it. Okay, so let's get our first pose in. Now my main poses for the legs are going to be on frame 1, frame 17 and frame 33. Bear in mind, because the character is going to take one step forward from here to here and then another step forward from here to here, frame 1 and frame 33 are basically identical. Okay, and on 17, the only difference between, say, 1, 33 and 17 is that frame 17, the position of the legs and the arms are reversed. So instead of left foot forward, right foot will be forward, and instead of right arm being backwards, left arm will be backwards. Okay, so that's what we're going to try and achieve with this. So just to kind of tidy this up a little bit, I'm going to go to the show menu and I'm going to switch off I'm going to switch none on just here. So that's going to hide everything. I'm then going to go back into the menu and turn on curves and polygons. So NURBS, curves and polygons. And that's just going to give me my model and my control handles. Okay. My perspective view is set up the same way. All right. So I'm going to start off with the legs. So what I want to do, get my indicator on frame 1. I also have the channel box open over here. And you can see down here I've got my auto keyframe switched on. I'm going to start off by positioning the left foot just here. And because I've already keyframed frame -1 and 0, because I've got auto keyframe turned on, all I need to do is basically move and rotate this handle into the position that I want. I don't need to come up here and, right click and hit key selected on anything for the time being. All right, so I'm going to grab a move tool and I'm going to just slide the foot forward like this. And you'll note that as you get further forward, the leg will straighten out. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is move the body down and forward a little bit like this. Okay. Note that you can select things over here, and that makes it a lot easier to get to the foot control. So I'm just going to bring this forward like this. And then I'm going to rotate the foot back a bit. So with the rotate tool, I'm just going to lift this this up like this. Okay. I'm then going to grab the back foot, sorry, the right foot, I should say, or the back foot in this case. Now I've actually forgotten to move my pivot point for this handle, so I'm just going to do that very quickly now. Normally I wouldn't recommend this with something that's already been keyframed, but I haven't actually repositioned this yet, so I might be okay. All right, so with this rear foot, I'm just going to move that back using the move tool. Now, once I get back to a certain extent, the heel will start to lift off by itself. Okay, and it's sort of okay if I kind of get this sort of a little bit off the ground. That should be all right. All right, and then what we can do is just grab the body handle again and just kind of position it in a spot where you want a little bit of bend in both legs if you can get it. Okay, if the rear leg is straight, that's okay, because we can actually keyframe one of our custom controls to fix that up. Okay, so I'm going to get it something like that. All right, I'm also going to keyframe the body here. It's actually already keyframed, so I don't need to worry too much about that. You can see that these red numbers here are adding in that keyframe information. All right, now just to fix this sort of rear leg up a little bit, basically what I want is to animate my heel up value just here. What that's going to do is lift the foot off the ground, but rather than us letting just the IK to do that, I'm actually going to set it up so that the heel control is doing that for us. So I'm just going to grab the heel up value and middle mouse click and drag and just lift the heel off the ground a little bit like that. This is just so we're actually controlling it rather than kind of randomly allowing the IK handles to do it for us. Okay, because we're pulling too far on the rig. All right, so that's frame one. So what we're going to do is copy these positions over to frame 3. Okay, and that's as simple as selecting the handle, right-clicking in the timeline on frame 1. So we go to copy, and then we move the indicator down to 33, and we right-click and we hit paste, paste, just here. Now what you can do is snap this menu off, so that way we've got just this little paste button here that we hit, and you can see it adds a keyframe just there. All right, we need to do that with everything that we've moved, so that's going to be the left foot in this case as well. So go back down to number 1, right click on it, hit copy, and then across to 33, and then just hit paste. We also need to do the body. So I'm going to select the body, go back to frame 1, right click on that, and hit copy, and then down to 33, and then hit paste. Now, the thing with the body is the body's going to be in the same position on frame 17 as well. So what I'm going to do is pop across to 17 and paste that keyframe there too. Because the body, regardless of which foot is forwards or backwards, at this position, the body's always going to be like this. Okay. All right. So if you, what we need to do now is basically reverse the positions of the feet. Okay. So what I like to do is use this little menu, and what I tend to do is stick this menu corner to the bottom of the heel, just here. Okay. Because what I need to do is basically place the control handle for the right foot to the position of the left handle. So I'm going to grab this handle here, and I'm having a look here. This heel up value is 13.8, so I'm just sort of just keeping that in mind, 13.8. If you want, you can actually select that and copy it, and we can paste that in afterwards. All right. So what I'm going to do is use the move tool, and I'm going to move this handle across or forward until it's in the same position as the left foot, like that. Keep in mind we're on frame 17 here. I'm then going to rotate it, and I want to rotate it to the same angle that the foot's at, the left foot is at. So in this case, the left foot is at a rotation value of minus 28.764, so 28764. So I'm going to pop into here. It's an X rotation. And I've completely forgotten that number. You can copy and paste it, but I've already got one copy and pasted, 28764. So 28764. Now your numbers can be a bit different. They don't have to be exactly what these numbers are as well. Now I also need to make sure that my heel value is set to 0 as well. So now what we're seeing here is both feet are basically in the same position. Okay. Now all I need to do is move the left foot back to where the right foot was. Okay, and that's going to be back here somewhere. Now if you're not sure where that was, you can actually go back to frame 1 and have a look at the numbers for the right foot. Okay, so you can see here the translate Z value is minus 2.357, 2357. So let's go minus 2.357, like that. The rotate value was minus 0.287. That actually probably should be a value of 0, to be honest with you. So I'm on 1 at the moment. I'm just gonna type that in, 0. Okay. But heel up 13.8 is what we needed. So I'm going back to 17. I'm going to set that rotation value back to 0, and then I'm going to put heel up at 2.38, and that's just going to lift that up a little bit. I'm going to have a quick look here for a second, because I think I'm getting a slightly different value. 13.8. 13.8 is the number. 13.8. There we go. That's looking better. Okay. So now you can see what we're getting is, if you scrub through, you'll get both legs kind of zipping back and forth, right? Like this. Now there's a bit of a weird twist here with this back leg, okay? So what we need to do is make sure that we're actually making sure that the keyframe for this one is also being set properly just here. And that's the rotate X value. So I need to set that back to 0 on that frame 33. Okay. Now for the front foot, just here, the left foot on frame 33, I also need to remember to switch off the heel. So I'm going to set that back to 0. So what we should be getting now, from 1, we've got the left foot here, right foot a little bit bent. Then on 17, same thing but the other way around, left foot back, right foot forward. And then on 33, it goes back to the other direction again. Okay, so what we're going to do here is save this file as. So we'll go File, Save Scene As, and I'm going to change this to Can Walk, like that. Now I've already got one that's called that, so I'm going to change this name slightly. I'm just going to remove the space. So just change the file name and hit Save As. Okay, so we're not overriding that master animation file. Okay, so yeah, if you press play, you'll see the legs move. Okay. All right, so in the next video, we're going to continue on, and we're going to add a little bit more body movement, and we're going to refine the leg movement as well by adding in some in-betweens between our 3 main pose frames. or our keyframes. So I'll see you then.